Hi guys, I wasn't ready. This is she, and today I thought I'd just come with a quick video to recap my first trimester. Right now we are 17 weeks, almost a few days shy of 18 weeks, which means that we're in our second trimester. We're almost at the halfway mark. The halfway mark will put us at about 20 weeks because most women are pregnant for about 40 weeks. And anything over that would be, being extra pregnant. So basically I just want to talk about some of the symptoms that I had, how we found out, and how I've been doing since the first trimester, which is much better. I feel like I didn't have a horrible first trimester, but I still had some of the common symptoms. And I was maybe the end of April. I was supposed to get my period maybe like around the 25th or something like that, and Brandon, my partner, noticed that I was a couple of days late, and although I wasn't like paying too much attention to it, I do know that my period is pretty regular in terms of like starting on time, pretty legit. I mean, outside of a couple of months where you have fluctuations. So when it was maybe 3 or 4 days late, I was like, it could just be changing schedule right now. But when it was like 5 or 6 days late, I was like, yeah, this is unusual. So that week I was like, okay, it was May 1st. I was like, I'm gonna take a test on May 1st. And on May 1st, I asked Brandon to go get the test, and I asked him to get the digital one. I didn't want to read any lines and be confused and be unsure, so I asked him to get the digital reader, the clear blue digital. I said pregnant or not pregnant, and I peed on the stick, and it showed up that I was pregnant. I literally scheduled an appointment for the following week to see an OBGYN, and during the exam, she just asked me when's the last time I had my period, blah, blah, blah. She asked me all the questions, and she actually did a sonogram, which I wasn't expecting. I was expecting maybe like some blood tests or something. And she saw the little yolk and the sac, and yeah, so she confirmed it, and I really was super excited. I wanted to tell everybody at that point. All the books and blogs and websites basically tell you to wait, until 13 or 14 weeks to tell everybody. But I think we told his parents maybe like at 6-7 weeks, and we told, my mom at like around 8 weeks. So we didn't wait too long. That was just for our immediate family. But we didn't do an official announcement until, I was almost close to 14 weeks. So the end of the first trimester. And first trimester symptoms. So the first couple of symptoms I started noticing was like my breasts were really tender and very sensitive to touch. Even when I put my own clothes on, like I stopped wearing bras a long time ago, but I would wear, sort of alternatives. So either sports bras or tank tops with like built-in bras. So like anything that I put on my breasts, like I would be so uncomfortable. And even, to touch, it was very sensitive. So I noticed that right away. And then the feeling of nausea started coming a couple weeks later. And that was mostly just feeling like I wanted to vomit, but not necessarily vomiting. I didn't really vomit, which is a good thing because I actually have a vomit phobia, but that's another story. But I would feel, pretty much throughout the day, I would feel like, oh my goodness, like I do not feel well. I didn't want to eat anything. I didn't have an appetite. What else? There was one time where I gagged. I was taking out the trash, and I think the smell, how some trash bags have like scents on them? The smell of the trash bag, I just had an automatic like gag, and I didn't throw up, but I was just like, oh man, this is so, ugh. I didn't even think about it. It just happened. And so after that day, I was like, I'm not touching these trash bags anymore. Please take them out of the kitchen. And we got some other trash bags with no scent. And I guess the worst symptom I think for me was like the hypersensitivity to smells, because it was so, like, literally everything in my house bothered me. Like, I could not stand the smell of my own house. So we had to like unplug all the fresheners. We had the little spray freshener that I had to like, you know, turn off. Like everything in the house like bothered me. Trash couldn't be in there for long. We had, and you know, our trash pickup is like every 2 days, so it's not like every day I could take out the trash. So yeah, it was just, that was like the biggest thing, because I feel like the hypersensitivity to smell is tied to like your appetite, is tied to your nausea. Like, so I was so sensitive to all the smells. Like I couldn't wear perfume because like smelling stuff on my clothes would like make me feel sick. So yeah, after I had that, that's when I started, I think, to feel like the worst. And then the fatigue came, and that was, I mean, I enjoy naps anyway, so it was just a great excuse to nap for long hours during the day, and I would still fall asleep at the same time and still sleep through the night. So fatigue is still something I have now. It's not as bad. Like I'm not sleeping as much, but I still feel tired, like, you know, after a couple hours of being up. Like, you know, I'd take a nap maybe like around 3 or 4, and it's only for like 30 minutes. So I had the tender breast, I had the feeling of nausea, I had the hypersensitivity to smell, and then I had the fatigue, and I think that was pretty much it. I didn't have the vomiting, so thank God for that. Been hearing some horror stories about, you know, women who are just constantly vomiting and can't keep anything down. My appetite is not 100% back, but it is much better than it was before. Like, I'm eating more protein. When I first got my first checkup at like 6 weeks, I was like 130, and then I went down to 127 after like 2 months. Now I'm back to, I think, like 130 again. So I'm like slowly gaining weight, not eating as much as I was before I was pregnant, but also doing much better than not eating at all. So we're super excited about this chapter. The second trimester is, I don't know why I keep saying semester. Second trimester is, it's going well so far. We've done a little bit of traveling. I feel like I'm not inclined to go work out. I'm not inclined to do, it's just difficult to do some of the things that you're supposed to be doing now when you're pregnant, especially if you didn't do them before. I wasn't a big water drinker before I was pregnant, so like drinking a lot of water right now is like, I have to force myself to do it. I try to force myself to go walk at least 30 minutes every day. You're supposed to be getting like two and a half hours of walking or exercise during the week. But yeah. So share with me in the comments, how your first trimester is, if you're currently pregnant or if you've been pregnant before. I am super excited about this trimester. I'm showing a little bit. I'm not like super pregnant, I guess. And I feel like I can still move around and do things I enjoy doing without, feeling like, oh, I'm gonna be super tired or exhausted. So I mean, it is getting better, and we're super excited just to keep getting updates, and soon we'll find out the gender of our little one, and we are just glad to keep progressing week by week. Talk to you guys later. Bye.